Okay then, here we go with the project definition plan. And what I've done is I've taken a plan and tried to take all of the client related information out of it. So if you decide to use this as an example, you want to read it very carefully, make sure there's no client data in it. But you would need to do that anyway, for a project definition plan is unique to the project. Just want to talk about the parts of it so that you don't overlook anything that's going to come back and be an issue for you later on. This plan is abbreviated, about 7 pages. The typical plan is 10 to 15 pages depending on the size of the project. And there is no right, wrong, up or down on it. It simply goes by the requirements. So I'm just going to briefly go over the table of contents. And this is going to help you to define the website requirement, to set up the URL, the domain registrar information, whether you're getting it on the client's behalf or whether they're coming in with their own, all of the particulars about designing the website. Any e-commerce, not every business is selling something. So not every business website has an e-commerce section. But just in case, you're going to want to make note of whether or not one is involved. Clients tend to think that search engine optimization is a part of web services. It is not. It is something separate. There is there are some elements of SEO that come with the hosting package that we do as a courtesy, but SEO in itself is a separate entity. So you're going to want to explain how your part's going to work in it and what their expectations are, and make sure that there is an agreement in place if they want to go further, because as I said many times before, we don't try to upsell the client, but if they need something and they're willing to pay for it, they understand the benefits and they want it, then definitely we want to provide that entity, whatever it is. Social network components, the same way. There is no absolute for connecting social network components to the website, but it is absolutely necessary. And if the client has them already existing, then we usually do that as a complement. Email components, another item that you will be able to work with your clients on you supplying the service or them getting it somewhere else, because having a business email address that is their business and their url.com, to have that in place offers a lot of professionalism. Marketing and promoting, need not say that that is definitely something that is separate, but a part of a successful web environment. And how you're going to complete the project, the assumptions that you might have or the client might have definitely need to be um, discussed in writing. And if there's going to be a blog, it is a part of the website, a platform. It's there, but it's not anything that is default for the web designer to put up unless the client is specifically giving those specifications. So we want to talk about that, see what the client's expectations are there. The contact management, having a website, having visitors come in and not being able to capture them and manage them is something that can be very important to the client. So we want to make sure that they understand how that happens and what their options are there. Site security and backups, that's something the client will want to know about. Who's going to administer the site, maintain it, keep it. Definitely something for conversation. And then how are you going to communicate during your project, during the project period, which can be anywhere from 30 days plus the 10-day grace period. When you start putting up sites, you may have a different criteria for a schedule. Our schedule for an economic site is 10 days and then a 10-day grace period. More complicated sites can be 30, 60 days, but all of that information is in writing and kind of tracked to make sure we stay on target. Who's going to be supporting the project, the primary team contact, and anything that happens that changes in the agreement, and when I say contract, I mean project, And then one of the most important parts, deliverables and milestones, which can sometimes become a document all to itself depending on how large the project is. Any fees that are involved and the client's acknowledgement. So I will not go through each and every one of these things. All I ask is that you pay attention to the table of contents and make sure if you develop an agreement with anyone that you have touched on in some way all of these items, because all of these items can come back and touch you whether you touch them or not. And you can change any of the wording to meet your criteria. We did put in company name and try to take out anything that was client related, but you can make this anything you want to make it, as long as the table of content is considered the roadmap to the customer's requirements and DPE's responsibilities. Okay, I hope this was clear. This is something I love, the scope of the project, so I'll be happy to talk to you about it in detail. But now I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.